How are you everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So yesterday I went to see Salem's Lot. I loved the trailer to this film. The trailer was really shocked me because I was expecting it to look absolutely crap. There's a certain shot where I'd love to do a full-on review with them in, but I can't talk. But there's a certain shot where Ben Mears runs out of a church at night time and it's all dark, misty, foggy, and he turns around and there's vampires on the buildings looking down at him, and I really thought that's a great shot. Is this film any good? I'm going to let you know in a second. Now, I have never read the book to this. I loved the original miniseries. I was scared to death of that vampire when I was a kid. It gave me nightmares. That miniseries is fantastic. I need to go back and watch it. It's been a few years since I last saw it. I've never read the book. So if there's anything missing from the miniseries or this film, please let me know. I probably will need to read the book at some point. I just never got around to it. But this film, it looked good in the trailer. It looked what vampire films should be: dark, gothy, especially nighttime scenes. It's kind of adding that atmospheric element to what's in the shadows, what's hiding in the dark, in the corner. You know, the fear element, and then the vampires themselves. Now, I have never read the book to this. I loved the original miniseries. I was scared to death of that vampire when I was a kid. It gave me nightmares. That miniseries is fantastic. I need to go back and watch it. It's been a few years since I last saw it. I've never read the book. So if there's anything missing from the miniseries or this film, please let me know. I probably will need to read the book at some point. I just never got around to it. I have not seen a vampire film for years that I could say that really is good. And I was really hoping this one would be good. Now, this film isn't great, but it's not bad either. It's watchable. It's almost like it's bare bones. You can feel that this film was very rushed due to time constraints or whatever, or money. I know this had production nightmares, so I think that had elements to make this film what it is, and it could have been a lot better. Now, it starts off quite well. It really does start off quite well. You've got this character, Kurt Barlow, and he's stating to this fella, he wants him to take this coffin to the Marsden house, which everyone should be familiar with if they've read the book or watched the TV series, or Castle Rock Season 2, which is absolutely brilliant. Season 2 of Castle Rock is absolutely brilliant. I love that. That is so good. So the Marsden house in that is absolutely fantastic. They don't utilise it in this film whatsoever, and it's such a shame. That's one of my negativities in this film. But you've got this Kurt Barlow who's asking this guy to transport this coffin, which you all know has gone inside, to this Marsden house, and they do. And when they drive up at night, he's with one of his friends, and they're transporting this coffin, and one of his friends say, "Oh, I don't like this place. It's got dark stories about the demon worshipping, and the guy who murdered his whole family." The house itself kind of reminds me of the house in Psycho. It just looks very similar to it. I couldn't get it out of my mind. And they take this coffin down to the cellar, and it's all of this opening sequence is really good. Builds on the story, builds on the atmosphere, builds on the tension, and they drop the coffin at one point and it breaks, and there's all this earth falls out, and there are spoilers ahead, so be warned. And they pick it back up, they pull it down again in the back, and as one of the main characters at the start, who's carrying this coffin, who's walking away, and he hears these noises, and he turns around, his eyes start to kind of glow white. He's walking over, like he's possessed or in a trance, and then his friend back says, "Oh, come on, hurry up! I thought you wanted to get out," and he comes out of that trance and goes away. And then you're introduced to Ben Mears, played by Lewis Pullman, who is Bill Pullman's son. I will have to watch the original again to see what the character of Ben Mears was like, but I don't remember him being... In this, he seems very watered down. That's my interpretation to him. He seems watered down. He's a good actor. I've seen him before, but he just seemed out of place for this. He seemed very weak. He just didn't seem that interesting. And this is one of the main protagonists in it. He's come back to this town. He's a writer. He left the town when he was 9. He used to live there. His parents were killed in the car crash. And he's watching this Marsden house. Now, I felt like I missed something here. A connection. Like, did someone murder his family? Why is he investigating this Marsden house? Now, the Marsden house from the original film was creepy. That house, in essence, is scary in itself. It's an entity which is creepy. The story behind it is just creepy. They leave little tiny bits of information here, story of this, what's happened, that's what happened. The original, you see them walking around, and I'm not sure if it's Chapelwaite or Castle Rock season 2. They were inside the house, and it's got this. It's almost like something's happened here, and it's not nice, and it has that. It's dripping with this kind of entity with an atmosphere, and it's great. In this, they don't even explore it. They go to the cellar, and that's it. They don't even explore this house, which is meant to be have people in the past that worship the devil, and things have happened, and don't even. And it's such a shame. This house is a pinnacle of what Salem's Lot is. It's the entity. It's one of the. It's not just the vampire. What draws this vampire to it? Because you hear things like that. This house is evil, and it draws on evil. It brings evil to it. But they never really explore it, and it's such a shame. And it's just a cellar they go to, and that's it. And that's such a shame. That's one of the biggest flaws in my head that I just couldn't get past. So anyway, you've got Kurt Barlow, who wants to basically bring. He sees this kid and kids, and he wants to bring these kids to the Marla house to feed to the basically head vampire. He manages to get one of them, who's a very young lad, and he does, and he brings it to the house. He's in a kind of bag, screaming, trying to get out, and then the head vampire comes down, and you see him go for the kid, and it cuts to Kurt Barlow's face, and you hear the kid screaming and all nasties, and Kurt Barlow's face is then sprayed with blood. And all of that is brilliant. All that is really, really good. Very well lit. Very well put together. That was all good. The build-up was all okay. You've got this kid being taken and, murdered, basically. The whole town are looking for him for a week, and then they suddenly go, well, he's gone, isn't he? So things start happening, and it's the brother of the kid that got killed first, and he disappears. And then the mother is killed at one point, and she's taken to the morgue, and people are starting to go, well, people are starting to disappear, something strange going on. One of my favourite characters in this film is Bill Camp. He plays a character called Matt Burke. He's a teacher, and he's great. I love this character in this film. He's just not. He doesn't act like he's stupid at all. He seems to know things which I don't know. So, for example, he's one of the people he knows. He walks into this bar, and one of the people he knows is he's in the corner in his shadow, and his face is all darkness. And Matt, walks over. And he says, "Okay, are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah," and he's heavy breathing and kind of like growling. And so you don't sound very well, and he says, "I'm not," and he this teacher says, right, there's no doctor available, you can stay at mine tonight, I'll take you to the doctor tomorrow, because he just doesn't believe this guy's, capable of, getting up and walking around. So he does, he takes him home, he's on his bed, gives him his tablet, and he says, are you okay? And he's like, no, and he looks like he's dead, basically. And this Matt Burke character, he's got these facial expressions that he knows something. He's a great actor. He knows something, and then he spots these marks on his neck, the bite marks, and he's like, he knows straight away, because in the next scene, he's downstairs and he's listening around, walking around, smoking, and he's like, and there's something on his mind, and he hears noises upstairs, a big crash, a smash. He runs outside, looks up at the window, and the window's open, and something gets through, and it jumps forward, and he goes up to Ben Mays and goes, get crosses, get states, blah, 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 come with me. And it jumps to this, his house, where he's brought this guy back, and he's clearly a vampire now, or will be a vampire. And he's already told them that the vampires, we don't get to see that scene, but they kind of go, yeah, he's a vampire and all that stuff, and vampires exist. And they're thinking, how do you know this? And there's no backstory there. So that's one of the questions I start asking. How do you know, this teacher, how does he know? Because if someone said that to me, I'd be like, vampires, yeah, whatever, mate, you're having a laugh. It's almost kind of, he knows something, there's like a past. How do you know these things that, to me it's kind of, I've got to see it to believe it first, and that means big teeth and bloody trying to kill me and all that stuff. And so anyway, it's a film, so they do start to believe in vampires after this, and people start to disappear. They find out basically from this kid, who's called Mark in this film, Jordan Preston Carter, the actor. Now he's a good actor. I liked him in this. He did get a bit annoying, but it felt like he knows at one point, after seeing one of his friends, try to kill him, and he wakes up thinking, oh god, this is a vampire, and he's into all these comic books, and he goes, right, how do you kill the vampire, blah 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 blah, and he goes, right, well, I need to kill the main head vampire, Barlow. And it almost turns into like not Goonies, but this kid's on like a one-man army to go into this house and kill this vampire. And I'm like, well, okay. It stops at making the film. It brings it to the kind of, it's a bit like Goonies now, isn't it? Ish, but he's one a man army on his own. And he's okay. And there's certain parts of the film where he's going, we need to do this, we need to kill the head vampire, I know about vampires, and everyone's going, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Everyone's listening to him and like, well, okay. Brain check. Is this a kid's film now? And it stops being a horror film at certain points. We jump forward to a few more scenes, and the whole town suddenly, and this is where my problem starts to fall apart. For me, it was kind of like, right, you had the first kid kidnapped and then fed to the vampire, okay, and then you got another kid disappear, and then the mum dies, and next minute the whole town of vampires. And I'm like, okay, it seems like they had a whole missing 5 or 10 minutes from this film. I would have liked to have seen elements where they kind of go, right, some other people are attacked. You see people who are sleeping and go outside, or they might get bitten or attacked by other, and you slowly build up to the whole town being taken over. Not just, right, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the whole town's changed. It spoiled it for me. It felt rushed, and I think, again, it was a rushed film. They just seemed to miss parts out of this. Now, I don't know if that's what it was like in the book. You can let me know if you've read it. There's other elements which I just didn't get, is where they know they need to kill this head vampire. I didn't really like the design of this head vampire. 28 Days Later vibes. They didn't feel like they utilised him too much. There was no creepiness there. And as you're going forward, you just get these elements of vampires trying to get them. You've got this element where they are able to hypnotise the victims to kind of get them towards them to kill them. There's bits where I do like where they have the crosses, they make crosses and they glow. I like that. I love the nighttime scenes. The nighttime scenes are absolutely fantastic. Dark, misty, foggy, well lit, tinted blue. Vampires in the distance, you can see their eyes and you can hear whispers and things like that very well. They put that together very well. There's one scene where is it the doctor in this, and she doesn't believe, vampires whatsoever. Yeah, I don't believe this. Haha, yeah, whatever. You twisted my leg, and they go, well, okay, you've got the mother in the morgue. Let's go and visit her because she's dead, isn't it? At night time, if she's a vampire, she'll wake up and try to kill us all. So they do. They go to the morgue and then they start talking and blah 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 blah. And nighttime starts to fall, and the lady plays a love interest, Susan. She starts going, "Oh, if vampires do exist, how are we going to protect ourselves?" And they don't bring anything like holy water, crosses or stakes. I would certainly have something. Yeah. Anyway, the woman gets up and she's dead, and then they make makeshift crosses out of sticks and that glows. But in my head, I would have bought something more than just gonna get sticks. There's this kid in it who's like the Goonies. He's like, yeah, we need to kill the head honcho vampire. He seems to know everything because he's a kid and loves comics and stuff like that. But everyone seems to be listening to him. It's like, okay, we'll do this, we'll do that. All right, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, we'll do this.
If we don't fight back, they'll come for us eventually.
And it almost feels like, yeah, that's realistic, isn't it? Everyone's going to listen to, it's a film. And they say, right, we need to kill the head honcho. We need to get to him, And they all kind of team up to go, right, in order to kill vampires, we need to get to that main guy. And it goes to daylight. And they're on the street. And they're talking and saying, right, where are all the vampires? Where have they all gone to? And Ben Mears goes, where are all the cars? And the cars are all not here. And, previous in the film, you see everyone's gathered together to watch a big, film on the big screen outside. And the cars are all outside and they're all watching the cars.
So why did you come back?
I'm here for research.
What exactly, though, are you researching?
Jump forward, that's where they are. So he goes there, it's daylight, and they open the trunk, and lo and behold, his love interest is in there. Obviously, she's a vampire, she's sleeping. And he said, right, you need to stake her, because she's a vampire. And he's like, no, I can't. So one of the other characters says, I'll do it. But in my head, I'm thinking, you've opened the boot, and it's daylight. It's overshadowed, but it's still daylight. In my head, I'm thinking as soon as you open it, boom, flames. But no, and it just makes no sense. It's like, right, you just, in my head, you don't need to stake it. Open the bloody boot of every car, and then you've killed them all, and then go for your main head vampire. It was overcasty, but still. It's just like, what are you going to do? Every vampire. And the biggest thing for me is, while they make this plan to go and kill the vampires, and they seem to wait until the end of the day, rather than going at first light when the sun is up. Right, we need to do this first light, because they do seem to do it late in the evening when it's kind of like, right, the sun's going down, because daylight only seems to be about 5 minutes. 1 minute it's daylight, next minute it's dark. Obviously, that's what films do, but it made the characters really stupid. Why would we be going at, like, I don't know, 8 o'clock and it's going to be dark at 8:30, 9 o'clock? Why are we going to do that? Why don't we do it at first light so we've got time? It just made the characters more stupid, and I don't know. The character that was, to me, was stupid. But, I don't know. So they have this roll down. and they get to the head vampire and they kill him, and there's 2 left in this film, and they drive off. The start of this was okay. The atmosphere was okay. The nighttime scenes were really good. I liked them. The teacher, he was fantastic. I liked him. Ben Mears, played by Lewis Pullman, he was all right. His character seemed very watered down. It just seemed. He just seemed like he was out in a different world. I don't know if that's what his character's like in the original. The kid, yeah, he was fine. He was a good actor, but it was like, I'm not here to see a kid's film. I want to see a horror film. I want to see a scary film. Nothing wrong with this actor in it. He was good, but it was kind of like, all right. So all the adults have no clue apart from the teacher and this kid. And they're all like, oh, okay, yeah, well, all right, we'll do this, okay, yeah, okay. And it just turned it into kind of like a ghoulish Goonies kind of film, and it lost its horror elements. So for me, it was okay. I won't watch it again. I just wish they made the house more prominent. They visited it more. They explored it a bit more. They never did that. The daylight things was just kind of annoying. How day turns night very quick. That the characters didn't decide, right, we'll do it in the early morning. What do you guys think anyway? Have you seen it? Oh, it's just not. It's a watchable film on a rainy day when you got nothing else to watch, and that's a shame to say that. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoy this review. Let me know what you guys think and leave your comments down below. Until then, take care.